The carte blanche rule. Why the carte blanche rule matters. Today we are examining one of the most distinctive constitutional principles of the English bar, the carte blanche rule, and also how it interacts with Court Duty 1 or CD1, that is the duty to the court in the administration of justice. This interaction is frequently examined on the bar course and is central to understanding the constitutional identity of a barrister. What is the carte blanche rule? The carte blanche rule is a fundamental professional obligation imposed on self-employed barristers under RC 29 to RC 30 of the Bar Standard Board Handbook. It requires a self-employed barrister to accept instructions in a field in which they profess competence at a proper fee from a professional client and where available, irrespective of the identity of the client, the nature of the case, or personal opinions about the merits, provided they are available. The analogy is to a taxi at the front of a rank. It must take the next passenger. The rule is constitutionally significant because it safeguards access to justice and reinforces equality before the law. However, it operates within a hierarchy of professional duties and is subordinate to the paramount duty to the court under Court Duty 1 or CD1. The constitutional purpose of the rule. The carte blanche rule protects access to justice. It ensures that even the most unpopular litigants, those accused of serious crimes, politically controversial figures, or socially stigmatized individuals, can secure representation. In an adversarial system, fairness does not depend on popularity. Rather, it depends on structured testing of evidence before an impartial tribunal. This principle supports equality before the law. 2. Independence of the bar. 3. Public confidence in the justice system. Now, the barrister dual role. As recognized in Rundle versus Wolseley 1969, a barrister occupies a unique constitutional position. They are a representative of the client, but also an officer of the court. This dual role explains why the carte blanche rule cannot operate in isolation. Court Duty 1, that is the paramount obligation. Court Duty 1 says that a barrister must observe their duty to the court in the administration of justice. The barrister duty to the court comes first, and this duty is paramount. If there is a conflict between the carte blanche rule, the client's wishes, and the integrity of proceedings, CD1 prevails. That is, the hierarchy is clear. Acceptance does not mean unrestrained advocacy. The carte blanche rule may require a barrister to accept instructions to defend someone accused of serious fraud. However, once instructed, the barrister must comply with RC3, not misleading the court, RC4, not abusing the role of advocate, RC9, correcting misleading statements. The rule guarantees representation. It does not guarantee dishonest advocacy. When ethical conflict arises, consider a situation where, after accepting instructions under the cab rank rule, the client asks counsel to A. Advance a factual case known to be false. B. Suppress binding adverse authority. C. Present misleading evidence. At this stage, CD1 overrides any obligation arising from acceptance of instructions. Here, the barrister must refuse the improper instruction, advise the client of professional limits, consider withdrawal if necessary. The cab rank rule does not compel participation in misconduct. Interaction with independence and public trust. The cab rank rule also reinforces core duty 4, which is independence, core duty 5, which is public trust. A barrister cannot refuse a case due to personal dislike or public pressure. Doing so would undermine independence and equality before the law. However, the rule has limits. It does not apply where there is a conflict of interest or lack of competence, unavailability, as well as improper fee arrangements. And crucially, it never requires professional misconduct. The hierarchical relationship explained. Constitutionally, the relationship works like this. The cab rank rule secures equality of access to representation. Core duty 1 secures integrity of the judicial process. Without the cab rank rule, representation could become selective and politicized. Without CD1, advocacy could become partisan to the point of dishonesty. Together, they balance fearless advocacy with principled restraint. In conclusion, the true meaning of the cab rank rule. The cab rank rule is not a license for unqualified partisanship. Rather, it is a structural guarantee that everyone can obtain representation within an ethical framework governed by the paramount duty to the court. You may be required to defend the unpopular, but you are never permitted to mislead the court. And that is the constitutional balance at the heart of the English bar.